All right, well, good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here for our Rural Road Safety event. It's the week of kickoff. My name is Chris Huffman. I am the president of the Pennsylvania Farm Bureau. I'm also a pig and chicken farmer from Cambria County, so I've got to travel all the way to beautiful Cambria County for this event, and I don't know, it wasn't sunny when I left, but it's beautiful here today. So I want to thank the family here, Bill and Joyce Krug, for hosting us today. It's a beautiful farm here, and we're excited about just putting a little bit of emphasis on agricultural safety as we think about moving forward the planting season as it starts this year. With us today, we've got a bunch of partnerships that we work with, and we have the Department of Agriculture here, we have the state police, we have PennDOT, and other agencies here that are really part of our discussion as we think about keeping people safe as they travel on the roadways. Also want to thank Senator Wayne Langerholc for being here as well and showing the support of the Farm Bureau. You know, as we think about spring planting, right, and a beautiful day like today is really something that kind of gets farmers excited. Even though we've had tons of rain over the last couple of days, it is really something that gets you itching, getting ready to start. And as the flowers start coming up, we know that we're going to be taking our equipment from farm to farm and from field to field, and we've got to use the roadways to do that. And you know, we have our equipment is well has a lot of lights and signage and all those things, but unfortunately we know that motorists really don't know what some of the signage means and aren't really paying attention because life is busy and they're in a hurry to get to places, and actually farm equipment tends to be just a distraction or something that's causing them to be late to wherever they're heading. And so as we travel from field to field, even though it's not long distances, we do find that we try to make sure that we don't have tons of traffic behind us, but at times it's not safe for us to pull off the road. And so we hope to remind people that please take the caution and patience so that we don't have accidents and issues that cause people to be injured and have struggles within their lives. You know, driving at night is another thing that a lot of people talk about, and it is legal for us to move our equipment with proper procedures and lighting. And so once the planting season starts, it's all go for most farmers to be able to get the crops in and get it ready to go for another good planting season. I noticed on my way up here, it's kind of like Cambria County a little bit, where there's a lot of hills, a lot of curves, and you know, as you come around those curves, you really can't really know what's on the other side of that curve or hill. And so during the springtime here, especially as farmers are out, they just try to slow down, try to be patient, and try to look out for us as we're moving forward. As you can see behind me, we kind of have a tractor turning left with the vehicle. We're seeing way too many of these types of accidents on the road. We want to make sure that the farmer gets home safely to his family, as well as those who are driving down the roads get home safely as well. We know that when all motorists drive smart, we share the road and follow all the safe driving tips, we can all save lives and make sure that everyone can go home and be with their family for another day. At this time, I'm going to invite the part of the host family up here to share a few words of their experiences as they travel the road. So I'm going to turn it over to Mark and Scott to share a few words about your experiences with all this beautiful equipment you're running up and down the road. So, Mark, Scott.
left turns and that. Just people are always trying to pass you, and just gotta be careful out there. A lot of distractions and
Everyone on phones, not paying attention, part of it.
and everybody's gotta go.
That's about it. Dad? You're on the road with express.
Oh, Bill. About the same thing. People trying to get around us, and you just got to pay attention to what you're doing. If you ain't paying attention, you're gonna hit them. So, just hopefully they're paying attention too. That's all I got to say.
Well, thank you, Mark, Scott, for your few words. No, hey, it is an important message to get out there about when you're out on the road. These are big pieces of equipment, and you can't always see right behind you, right? And even though as a driver you may think they see you, but you guys can probably say they don't see you. So it's pretty important that as a driver you understand and are aware of just how big these pieces of machinery are and how to get them stopped. Just doesn't happen on a dime. So thank you for sharing and again hosting us here. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to a great friend of agriculture, Senator Wayne Langerholc, who is also chairman of the Senate Transportation Committee. Senator?
Thanks, Chris. Good morning. What a great day. Not what we've had lately here, but it's good to see the sun shining actually. And thank you, Chris. Thank you to the host family. Thank you, Secretary Redding, for making the trip out here to the 35th Senatorial District. Would also like to thank our commissioners that are in attendance, Scott Hunt, Keith Rager, Tom Chernisky. Thank you, gentlemen. You've been great partners in agriculture as well. This is such an important topic and fitting as Chair of Transportation and seeing the good work that we're doing here in the Commonwealth. It's important to draw attention to this. And Marty, Tommy, Joe, we were talking a little bit before here about one of the Legislative Farm Bureau tours that the idea came that was brought to my attention for the increased width for the combines. I mean, it's no more fitting now that there are more farm vehicles that can be on the road, and now that we were actually, the bill that we had, my bill, which was signed into law to allow the larger equipment to be on the road, now more than ever, it's important that we draw attention to this and let people know that safety is of paramount importance here. So pay attention and be aware. And it's good to be here on behalf of the Senate of Pennsylvania, and we will continue to advocate for this, but just be careful out there. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. It's always good to have a friend in the Senate that understands agriculture, because that is so important as we think about where agriculture is going and the future of it. All right, at this point we're going to turn over to PennDOT, Executive Deputy Secretary Larry Shiflett. I want him to come and speak and say a few words about there you are. There you go.
We got you lined up. We're ready for you.
Please come and say a few words. Thank you.
Again, thanks so much for having me, but thank you, Senator Langerholc, for your leadership, not only to the farming industry, but also the transportation. As was mentioned, he's the chair of the Senate Transportation Committee, and he's been a great advocate for transportation as well. And both of these topics certainly go together, as you would expect. Just a big thank you to the Farm Bureau for having PennDOT take part of this event today. It's important to us. Safety is PennDOT's number one concern, whether it's farm equipment, whether it's our workers, whether it's you or I traveling to or from our daily work. We need to make sure that we're all taking the time to, 1, buckle up, 2, obey the laws, and 3, slow down, take your time. Farm equipment certainly is, as we mentioned, it is used all day, all hours of the day. So typically when you're a kid and you're riding a bike, what do your parents tell you? Don't be out early morning or late at night. Tough hours to see. Well, that's tough hours for all of you driving a car to see farm equipment too. So take your time, please slow down, and again, give them the space that they need and there's really an extra minute or an extra 2 minutes to get to your destination, isn't really worth not getting to your destination. So again, take the time to slow down, obey the laws, and we'll hear maybe a little bit more about the laws, but the most important thing that all of us can do as we're driving is buckle up just in case there is an accident. Thanks.
Thank you, Larry. I appreciate those comments. We appreciate PennDOT and everything they do in making sure that we have all the tools that we need to be able to get our equipment from farm to farm and to do it legally. So thank you for your support. At this time, I'm going to invite our Pennsylvania State Police Community Affairs Officer, Tristan Tappy, to come and to offer a few words on the legal side of it. So, Tristan?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Trooper Tristan Tappy with the Pennsylvania State Police. Two things that I want to touch on today that we stress to the community is caution and patience while driving on roads like this. It is no secret that a majority of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania is rural and agricultural farmlands. What it shows to me today, the turnout that we have here, is where the passion in this community lies, and it is with agriculture and with the safety of our neighbors and friends. We urge and encourage the public driving a passenger vehicle, like behind me here, to slow down, be cognizant and off your electronic devices, and aware at all times of your surroundings. If you come up on a field that looks like crops have been freshly planted or there's livestock grazing, maybe think twice and slow down a bit. Put your cell phone down, buckle your seatbelt, and be cognizant that up ahead of you might be anything from an ATV to a combine, which is legal to be operated on these farms, as a lot of these farms in Pennsylvania cross main roadways. Their property lies on several hundred to several thousand acres. The Pennsylvania State Police is also maximizing their patrol at this time of year. For us in our marked vehicles to be seen a little bit more often, maybe to get the driver to be more cognizant or get their attention a little more, to have them drive a little bit safer. It is no secret as well that a passenger vehicle is not going to be a match to a combine or a tractor that's on the roadway. Coming at the crest of a hill, negotiating a turn or curve of any sort, maybe think to yourself that you're not going to be able to see around that curve. You're not going to be able to see ahead of that crest of the hill. So to slow down and be patient and wait for that farming vehicle to cross, stop, slow down, or pull over to do whatever they need to do. Because remember, this could be your neighbor or somebody in the community that you care about. Thank you.
Thank you, Trooper Tappy. I really appreciate those comments. We can't talk enough about the patience of drivers, because in the hurries when bad things happen, and even on the farm, we know that we must be very conscious about how we do things with our equipment. We need drivers to do the same thing. So, with that, I'd like to introduce our last speaker today to the podium. This guy is not a stranger to agriculture, great friend, and just glad to see him again here in Cambria County, Department of Agriculture Secretary Russell Redding.
Hey Chris, thank you, and good morning, everybody. Good to see you. It is always good to stand with Farm Bureau. It's also good to stand in Cambria County. It's good to see the folks who come our way all the time to advocate on behalf of the farms in this county and region. And I'm looking around and see them. They're always great voices for agriculture, so a note of thanks to each of you. What I like about this event is a couple of things. One is, as I think about all of the folks who are responsible for transportation, right, and our township supervisors are here, and county commissioners and senators here, along with members of the General Assembly, but also Congress is part of this story as well. So all of us have a piece of what happens here today, messaging both in safety but also the importance of agriculture. The other reason I like it is because I get a chance to see the folks who I think like to eat. How many like to eat? Yeah. I say that all of this work that we do, I mean all of this hustle of putting crops in the ground and producing something that ultimately goes in this bin or goes on our shelf at home, is made possible by folks who farm, right? And that is an important reminder to all of us that at the end of the day, this is about food. stewardship of the land, certainly safety message today, but at the end of the day, the folks who are in this business are here to produce a product that ultimately ends up to the benefit of us. So being patient, being aware, as noted, being kind, all of those things are hard to do. And I get behind my own share of farm equipment as we travel the roads in Pennsylvania. But I'm also, even as secretary, have to remind myself to pause, right? To take a deep breath. This equipment is going to enter a field or enter a farm lane at some point, just to slow down. I'm also aware that we are in a society that is easily distracted. Everybody is looking at something else other than what they should be looking at, right? It's about, you look across as you're driving, you see folks on cell phones, and you know that that is not a good thing. That is not a good idea. And particularly when you introduce the size of this equipment that is with us here. I'd also say that as much as this big equipment is a challenge, I live in an area that has a lot of Amish, right? And they may not have the size of equipment, but they are crossing the roads and they are traversing these township roads particularly. So a note of caution there, just to make sure that we're aware. All of those folks are in agriculture, and we want to be aware of that activity. We have heard today about the need for safety. This is important not just for public benefit, but certainly those who are drivers and those of the farm community as well. We know that there's a lot of activity occurring, and let's be honest, given the spring that we've had, as soon as we have a couple of dry days, this equipment's going to move and move quickly, right? And it may not always be where it's parked. It may not be where we sort of think it's going to be. That was brought home to me when we looked at the last census that came out from the U.S. Department of Agriculture just about a month ago. Number of farms down, acres down, acreage up. Folks are traveling greater distances. There are more people, in the nation who are in this business of agriculture. Here in Pennsylvania, we know that this farm community has shrank a little bit, but the farm community is, by acreage, is growing and output is growing. So it is an important reminder as we head to spring, is that we're thinking about safety, we're thinking about food and agriculture, we're thinking about our neighbors, that ultimately, once this equipment is parked, is that we are the beneficiaries of what is produced on the landscapes of both the state and nation. And that's made possible by a lot of people in this business of ag. It's made possible by equipment that continues to grow in complexity and scale. But ultimately, it is our acceptance and tolerance and patience that will be important as we enter both this growing season and the future. So thank you for your support. I'm also pleased, this is a piece that we have done over the years, is asking governors to proclaim this week as Rural Road Safety Week. And I'm pleased today to share a proclamation from Governor Shapiro, who has been incredibly supportive of agriculture. He has encouraged us as a department to be engaged in thinking about multiple needs and work with certainly the local governments and our General Assembly. So a note of thanks to them for their support as well. Anybody who knows a proclamation knows that there are some really important whereases, right? There are 6 of them. There is one really important therefore, right? I'll read 2 whereases to you just for emphasis. The other notes have been made here today. Whereas it's not only necessary but also legal for farmers to move their farm equipment on public roads to get from farm to field, and farmers and motorists need to safely share roads. And whereas motorists and agricultural producers must work together with safety professionals to control and alleviate the risk to those who live and work in rural environments. And therefore, on behalf of Governor Shapiro, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, do by proclaim April 14th to the 20th, 2024 to be Rural Road Safety Week. So I'm pleased to present this to the host family. If you'll accept this, please. Thank you for hosting and thank you for being in agriculture. I'll present this to you now. I'll turn this back to President Hoffman. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Secretary Redding. Really do appreciate everyone that's here today, from our speakers to even our farmers who are in the audience today. It's important to show just the importance of rural road safety and just how important it is to get people to think, right? Think about what they're doing, think about the consequences, and to truly understand what it is that they're up against as we're out on the road trying to feed this nation. You know, I'm reminded as I think of some of the statistics that are out there, and I think it's always something to remember. It takes only 5 seconds to close the gap, the length of a football field, if you're driving 55 mile an hour and you come up behind a piece of equipment doing 15 mile an hour. 5 seconds is really, really short when you think about that, especially if you're not paying attention or distracted. And so we want to continue to make sure that folks understand just how to be aware of your surroundings as you think about being out and about this springtime season as we go about our business. We understand that sometimes it gets frustrating. I know coming here, I followed a dump truck loaded as stone coming down off of one of the mountains out there, Marty. I'm not sure which one it was.
There's lots of them.
There's a lot of them. But you know, you just have to take the time. You have to be patient, right? Because it's important for people to do their work, and it's important for you to be safe to get to where you're going. And so, again, just want to thank everyone here, our host family, for what you're doing to be here, to be that voice, to show what you have here and what you're working with, and all our officials who are supportive of agriculture and want to make sure everyone is safe. Thank you to the Farm Bureau, the County Farm Bureau here, Cambria County Farm Bureau, and all of you farmers who've taken a few minutes. I know it rained, so you can't be out in the field, so you needed something to do, right? But thanks for being here, the county commissioners, the township supervisors. You know, it takes a team. It takes all of us working together to make sure that our community is safe. And I thank you all for that. And if there's anybody that has any questions, we'll be around to answer those questions. But again, thanks for being here. Thanks for putting the emphasis on rural road safety. And as you leave here, be safe, right? Be safe on your way home. So thanks again. Appreciate it.